the Dots, reliving Northwoods history with Carrie Bladorn. It's been a great season for winter activities in the Northwoods of Wisconsin. The trails have been open, the groomers have been busy, and the familiar sound of snowmobiles has echoed through the pines once again. So it feels fitting to step inside one of our region's great winter institutions, an outstanding museum in St. Germain that celebrates the history of snowmobile racing in the heart of the Northwoods. The Snowmobile Hall of Fame is located on Highway 70, just west of St. Germain, about 15 miles from the snowmobile capital of the world in Eagle River, and a short trail ride to Sainer, the birthplace of the modern snowmobile. The Snowmobile Hall of Fame is dedicated specifically to racing history. This is not a broad winter recreation museum. It's focused on the competitors, innovators, and organizers who helped shape snowmobile racing into an internationally recognized sport. It holds the distinction of being the oldest snowmobile Hall of Fame of its kind. The idea began in the early 1980s, when three passionate snowmobilers, Lauren Anderson, CJ Ramstad, and Mike Trapp, thought that the pioneers of snowmobile racing deserved permanent recognition. These were individuals deeply involved in the sport who understood its personalities, its rivalries, and its rapid technological growth. What started as a conversation quickly turned into action. Fundraising ideas like the Ride with the Champs event started in 1984 to raise money for the Hall of Fame, an event that continues to this day. In 1985, the organization was formally incorporated as a nonprofit, and the first class of inductees was honored in 1988, establishing a tradition that continues today. Through its early years, the Hall of Fame operated out of at least 4 different sites as it searched for a lasting spot. Its first space opened in 1989 in downtown Eagle River at the corner of Highways 45 and 70, a fitting place given Eagle River's deep racing heritage. In 1993, the Hall of Fame moved into its permanent home in St. Germain along Highway 70, placing it squarely in Wisconsin's snowmobile trail country where it remains today. Since then, the Hall has expanded into a $500,000 facility, including the Hall of Fame, a library, and an incredible museum space with dozens of racing sleds, photos, and gear on display. Visitors can trace the evolution of racing machines from early competition sleds to more advanced models that redefine suspension systems, chassis design, and engine performance. Each sled represents not only engineering progress, but the athletes who trusted those machines at high speed on frozen lakes and groomed tracks. The Wall of Fame itself is the pinnacle of snowmobile racing achievement. Row after row of names, each one voted in by peers who know exactly what it takes to earn that honor. These are champions, innovators, and lifers of the sport. Among them, you'll find storied names like Dave Wall, Blair Morgan, Craig Marchbank, and many more. Selecting inductees for the Hall of Fame is a process rooted in peer recognition. Rather than decisions being made solely by a small board, roughly 400 to 500 individuals connected to the sport participate in voting. Nomination forms are available online, allowing the racing community to put forward worthy candidates. With more than a dozen racing tracks and decades of competition across the region, identifying deserving inductees is no small task. Racing history is wide and deep, and preserving it requires ongoing effort. Every plaque represents frozen tracks, roaring engines, and late nights in the shop, and a lifetime devoted to racing. It is more than a wall. It is the heartbeat of snowmobile competition, preserved in brass and memory. What makes this Hall of Fame so special is not simply the collection of placards and machines, but the preservation of a competitive culture that has helped define winter in northern Wisconsin. Snowmobile racing has brought national attention to the region. It fuels tourism, supports local businesses, and creates a winter identity built around speed and skill. Here in the Northwoods, we've never treated winter as something to endure. We compete in it, we build for it, we gather around it. The Snowmobile Hall of Fame in St. Germain ensures that the racers, engineers, organizers, and visionaries who shaped that culture are remembered. The next time you hear the engine crackle across a frozen lake, you're not just hearing horsepower, you're hearing decades of racing history that this museum works so hard to preserve. So be sure to stop in year-round and check out this awesome hidden gem of the Northwoods in the Snowmobile Hall of Fame, where racing history is remembered and celebrated. I'm Carrie Bladorn, and you're watching Connecting the Dots, reliving Northwoods history on Newswatch 12.